Let me talk a little bit about yourself. Introduce yourself to the committee.
My name's Mia. I play field hockey, basketball, and track, and I just want to stay involved with.
And you all know Evie because Evie was here at our last meeting.
No, she wasn't. It was just Aisa last meeting.
Oh, Evie, you can introduce yourself to Evie.
I'm Evie. I'm the field hockey captain, and I'm one of the supervisors. Homecoming week. On Friday, October 10th, we had our first pep rally of the year. We had a great time as our fall coaches were introduced, heard music from our band, and played exciting games. Then, on Saturday, October 11th, over 200 students attended our homecoming game. Our Quaboag game was played on Tuesday, October 14th. Congratulations to the sophomore class on winning this year's championship game. Sports senior nights. Last week, many sports had their senior nights. Girls soccer had their senior night Wednesday, October 15th against Tantascwa. Field hockey had theirs on Wednesday, October 15th against Montechusett. And boys soccer was Thursday, October 16th against Square. The students in our Journey Transition program started a weekly internship at Second Chance Animal Shelter in Southbridge, so they are helping to support the animal pantry by filling bags of food. This is an exciting opportunity for our students. Financial aid presentation. There will be a financial aid presentation November 4th, 2025 at 6:30 p.m. in the auditorium. This is available to juniors and seniors. The presenter will be Richard O'Connor, who is the Director of Financial Aid at Elms College in Chicopee, Massachusetts. The school store, the Quaboag Cougar School Store will open every Thursday after school from 2:15 to 3:30. Come check out our current merchandise, including our adorable custom branded Cougar plush teddy bears, now only $18. Get them while they last. Plus, look at the new fall merchandise and snacks that will be available for sale after school soon. Our 21st century programs are currently underway. After-school clubs include creative writing, Dungeons and Dragons, middle school esports, and our cooking club. We have 99 students from 8th and 9th who will be attending the Washington, D.C. trip from March 17th to 20th. Students will be visiting the Smithsonian Museum, White House, Lincoln Memorial, Capitol Building, Library of Congress, and the National Zoo, among other tours. Fundraising calendars are being sold for our students through the month of October. Seniors have an upcoming Halloween walk through Quaboag Regional Middle High School, October 31st. They also have an ongoing raffle calendar fundraiser. Gift cards are being collected from different restaurants and businesses. The junior class has been running the snack shack during home night games at Quaboag. Seniors have an upcoming NHS induction, October 23rd, 2025, for those that got into NHS. They also have the PSAT exam October 22nd. Juniors are also starting to have meetings about their class rank. The sophomore class is having a bake sale at Clem sometime during the first week of November. During the week of Thanksgiving, they will be having a coffee muffin morning for the Quaboag teachers. Sometime during the first week of December, the sophomores will be discussing class dues and their fundraiser in February. Sophomores also won the annual Powder Puff game. The freshman class is working on organizing their annual Breakfast with Santa fundraiser, which will be taking place in December. They will have more information in the upcoming future regarding this function. They are still collecting their class dues at this time. Last Wednesday, 8th graders in Mr. Slattery's Project Lead the Way Medical Detectives class were learning about the brain anatomy and functions. As part of this process, they dissected and labeled parts of a sheep's brain. The sheep brain is structurally similar to the human brain, just a little smaller. So it's a great model to study. 7th and 8th grade have an upcoming Halloween dance on October 24th, 2025. They also just finished their first round of math testing. Project 351. Quaboag Regional High School announces our 2 8th grade students selected for Project 351 are Farah Permarini and Jerry Elemental. Quaboag's Project 351 ambassadors demonstrate the value of being helpful, friendly, and kind with a willingness to volunteer. 7th and 8th grade families were invited to a family math night as they are using a new math program. This night was for families to get a better understanding of the new series and provided suggestions on how they can help support their students. Thank you to Ms. O'Rourke for organizing this event. There will be 3 additional math nights throughout the year. Any questions?
How could you guys have lost the powder puff to sophomores?
We only had 7 players.
They even had a little extra help too.
Oh, did they? Okay, that was my only question.
Very devastating.
So was it my fault then, Mia?
Yeah, because you didn't help with the unsportsmanlike conduct on my last show.
It usually is Mr. Duff's fault.
Yeah.
I think it was his fault the year before last, and
I thought he was the one giving them the extra help.
I just wanted to know, is the senior Halloween walkthrough, is that a different night from the trunk or treat, or is it on the same night?
It's a different night.
It is a different night, okay.
Yep.
Just wanted to clarify,
So
thank you.
the Halloween senior walk is a rite of passage kind of for the seniors, and they do it the last block of the day.
Okay,
And they dress up and they parade around
Oh, that's
through the classrooms, and teachers hand out candies, and you know,
Cool.
something they've been doing for every year
that's awesome.
for a long time.
Thank you. Any
Thanks,
other
guys.
questions or? All right, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
you.
All right, next up is North Brookfield updates.
Sure, so as you all know, we've been working with North Brookfield, as have other districts, looking at the potential of tuitioning North Brookfield in. We were invited, Nicole and I were invited to meet in North Brookfield at some point over the next month or two to present in front of the school committee. And we're gonna continue to push as hard as we can to get a tuition agreement with North Brookfield. I think that it would certainly provide some level of sustainability for the district. Preliminary working meeting with Nikki and with some of the insurance rep preliminarily, we're looking at at least a 20% increase next year in health insurance, which is roughly $400,000. So if you add that on top of our current budget now, you know, we are gonna have to fight for every cent that we can get. And if we're fortunate enough to bring North Brookfield on, that will certainly help offset that. We've discussed it several times in the budget subcommittee meeting. You know, we can't, in good conscience, I don't think we can ask for another $1.3 million above minimum contribution from the towns next year, particularly given the state of affairs that are going on in the town of West Brookfield right now. Their resources are very limited. So if you think about whether the state's gonna come through, we'll talk further in the agenda about the Chapter 70 Review Committee. You know, North Brookfield's gonna be very important for our district to continue to have a level of sustainability to what we're doing today. We're fortunate enough last year to get that number that we got from both towns just to keep the services that we have in place. So preliminarily, the number, and I'm hoping, believe it or not, I'm hoping it comes in at 20%, because for those of you who are in the private sector, have insurance in other places, they're talking it could go as high as 25%, which would be absolutely devastating. So we are gonna work very closely. I will keep the committee updated on the progress with North Brookfield. There are a couple districts that are involved in that process right now, and it's, at the end of the day, it's gonna come down to whether the school committee votes to tuition their kids out, and if they vote to tuition their kids out, they have to vote on which district they're gonna tuition their kids to. So I am looking forward to meeting, Nicole and I are looking forward to meeting with North Brookfield at some time within the next month and a half or so.
North Brookfield must have some kind of deadline, because they're gonna have to redo a budget themselves unless they make a decision.
So their budget is set because they're a municipality, where we're a regional school district. It's just a question of how they fund their budget and what they use those funds towards. With us, there are many different factors with the regional piece.
Yeah.
That North Brookfield, the towns know what their budgets are prior to, we know what our Chapter 70 numbers are gonna be.
Yeah, but their number is gonna go up,
Oh,
just
it
like
is,
that,
yeah.
and they're insurance and everything else, so, you know, the budget, I know each department puts their budget out, but I'm sure their budget is gonna go past any other budget even close to it.
And I would assume that they're gonna be at net school spending again this year.
So realistically, when would they have to make a decision in order for either Quaboag or one of the other respective schools to be able to accommodate a tuition need?
Realistically, I would say, in all reality, it could be as late as February or March.
It ultimately has to go to DESI as well, so, yep.
And when we spoke with Desi last year, their deadline was May, but you can't, you know, from a district's point of view or standpoint, you can't make something happen between May and September. There's just too many moving parts between transportation and reorganization and scheduling. But technically, you know, they have until May to get it to Desi. If that is what their pleasure is, it's just a question of whether at that point we could accommodate it or not. As you know, by May, our budget is pretty well set. So I'm hoping to hear back from North Brookfield within a few months, but definitely by February or maybe March, the latest. So that's the North Brookfield update. I will keep the committee updated on when we hear back from the task force. Matt Grant is the task force committee chairperson, so he will be reaching out to us to set us up with a date to meet with them. Good news on the green community update for Warren Elementary School. The town of Warren is working with Mr. Estrella at this point to look at the green community grant. We are going to do the building envelope project, and the building envelope project is essentially making the building airtight at Warren Elementary School. Once you have the building airtight, then it opens up the potential to apply for additional grant funding, which Town Administrator Ferreira has committed to, which is exciting. Mark and Jim have been working very closely with the green community folks. And if we can get the building envelope project done, then it opens up the opportunity to get the funding for the heat pumps and for the air conditioning in the areas where we would have to replace the chillers, which will be a savings, or not a savings, but it would essentially cost the district $250,000 to have this project completed, which will be funded through green community grants. I know that Mr. Estrella has worked very hard with Town Administrator Ferreira and Town Administrator Kofsky on these particular programs, and has netted well over $1 million in savings in project completion, thanks to their hard work together. So I'd like to publicly thank Town Administrator Ferreira and Town Administrator Kofsky for working with the district to find these incentives and initiatives that make Quaboag, we talked about it last year, Quaboag is far beyond many other districts with the energy efficiencies that we do that cost the towns no money to have these done, which would essentially be capital improvement plans for each district.
I kind of agree with you, because they can use that green community money in their own buildings and whatever, and thankfully, they're giving it to the districts, which, yeah, that's what they want.
So we're hoping that with these energy efficiencies, you know, the lighting efficiencies, we're still 3 years out, but we should see a savings to our electrical use within the buildings, because we do the on-bill repayment with it now. Capital Committee update. The Finance Director Gonzalez and I met with the Warren Finance Committee, or Warren Capital Committee last Tuesday to talk about potentially looking at a capital improvement plan for the lighting down at the stadium field and lighting between there. For those of you, we've talked about this at length in budget and building subcommittees. The lighting between the school and the field and the lighting in the end zones at the field just are not adequate. And quite frankly, it's a safety issue. Right now, we have halogen lights that are on the stadium field. Those halogen lights are running at 60% efficiency right now. So for those of you who have attended games or you play games down on the field, you really can't see in the end zones because the lighting is only at 60%. For those of you who have attended the games, there's no lights between the parking lot unless you use the walkway, but many people don't. They come down from the street or they come across the softball field. There's no lighting in between there. So when we were looking at our energy efficiencies, when we did all the lights inside at Quaboag, all the exterior lights, we looked at putting the stadium on for an on-bill repayment, but the incentive wasn't big enough there in order to qualify to have it pay for itself. So we did speak with the capital committee in Warren last Tuesday. The projected cost of that is roughly, their cost of it would be roughly $60,000, and the cost of West Brookfield would be roughly $40,000. That's if you did the entire project. You could break it into a $70,000 project and a $30,000 project. There was an appetite from the town to put lights near the tennis court because, as many of you know, when you drive by Quaboag now, after school, there's tons of people there. And the community uses the tennis courts during the summer, and they use it at night sometimes. So the town was interested in that as well. I did hear from Town Administrator Ferreira on Friday. The committee was not committed to putting forth the entire amount because the regional agreement says that Warren will provide 60% of the funding and West Brookfield would provide 40% of the funding based upon enrollment at the time of the project. I think that from what I understand from Town Administrator Ferreira is that Warren may put a $60,000 article on the special town meeting for their portion of the project and wait for West Brookfield to hopefully back into a number. I do want to thank Finance Member Ray Capaco for helping out in talking us through the process and talking, with the Finance Board. I think it's important to see some contribution from both member towns, and that'll be something that we continue to push. But thank you to the Capital Committee, the Board of Selectmen, Town Administrator Ferreira, for helping to try to move this project forward. Any questions on that one? The concession stand finally opened 2 Fridays ago. We've been talking about the concession stand for a long time. There was a $100,000 earmark from Representative Smola that paid for the entire concession stand project. So once again, that did not come from our towns, nor did it come from our school operating budget. That was purely an earmark from Senator Smola. The work that was done down there included a foundation and complete septic system, 3 bathrooms, a storage area, a mechanical room, and a concession stand. I can tell you that I have been approached by several members of the community, one that drives a bus from Monty Tech that hasn't been to our campus in about 5 years, and he couldn't believe the improvements that have happened around the campus. And many members of the community are obviously thankful for running water and bathrooms down there without porta potties anymore. It's been a very welcomed addition, but I have to give a huge shout out to Fountain and Sons. Fountain and Sons are the ones that completed the project. For anybody who has put an addition on or has attempted to build a new house, the cost of building right now is astronomical. To get that size building with everything included in it for $100,000 would cost you probably $250,000 anywhere else. Jim Fountain and Fountain and Sons did a remarkable job. They're always committed to doing anything they can to help out within our school community, as are many people. So these types of projects are possible because of the support that we have from our community. So I want to certainly give a shout out to Representative Smola and also a huge shout out to Fountain and Sons. And for those of you who have been down at the concession stand, you can see that it's a much welcomed addition to our facilities. So thank you to that. MCAS results, we did have to embargo the results from last time. I did send an email out to the committee about 2 weeks ago just saying that we're not in need of assistance, so I just wanted to circle back to that. WCES principal search update. As you know, Principal Rich has accepted a job in another district. His projected last date of employment is October 30th. We did post on School Spring immediately after that. We do have 12 candidates that have applied for the position. We've put together a search committee made up of teachers and administrators from Warren and from the high school. Dr. Esposito will sit on it. she's district-wide. So we are doing interviews this Wednesday. There were 4 candidates that were selected to be interviewed. So we're hoping that we can find our next principal at WCBS, and hopefully that they can start as quickly as possible. So I will keep the committee updated based upon where we're at with the interviews and whether we find the right candidate to lead Warren Elementary School. The NEASC visit, NEASC comes every 5 to 6 years, sometimes a little bit longer. We started this NEASC process under Principal Hanfeld, actually under me, and then Principal Hanfeld took over. And unfortunately, we had to cancel what we had going because unfortunately, Principal Hanfeld passed away. We did hear back from NEASC. Principal DiOrio has been doing a great job with the NEASC process. We will have a NEASC visit in April. It'll be a 3-day visit. So they'll be out in April, and I want to give a huge shout out to the school and the teachers and all the resources that we have here that had valuable insight into the NEASC process with the evaluations and reports that go along with this entire process. NEASC used to be more of looking for things that maybe you weren't doing to their level, which would lead to your accreditation. But now NEASC is more of a guiding body where they're not looking at the gotchas, they're looking at ways that you can improve without the gotchas. So the process is a little bit better than it used to be, which I think is, if you're looking for change, I think that changing that way is a more productive way to do it than the way that was done in the past. The public hearings for the Chapter 70 Review Committee, I did forward an email out to the school committee. There are, and it was in your packet, the governor did put together a Chapter 70 Review Committee, which is different than what they've had in the past. In the past, we were able to go to Boston and state our cases why the Chapter 70 formula is broken, and then the governor would listen to it, and then it really didn't move anywhere. The governor put together a committee made up of senators and representatives this year that are really taking a close look at the Chapter 70 formula. You've heard for years the formula is broken. It's antiquated. It's an old formula based upon having 2,000 kids in a school district with a true middle school, a true high school, with 3 or 4 elementary schools. The state just doesn't have that population any longer. So it is time for them to revamp that formula. Anybody's welcome to attend the hearings. I did include that link in the packet as well. I would recommend that you sign up to it. I did share that with Town Administrator Ferreira, Town Administrator Kofsky as well. They asked that we forward it to our town members, which we have done, because at the end of the day, the Chapter 74 formula is what drives our budget, which also drives what the minimum required contribution from our towns are, as well as the above minimum contributions that we asked for. So we'll be looking at that very closely. And finally, the college financial aid night and admissions. As you know, last month we did do the admissions night. The admissions night is for juniors and seniors. We had Paul Brower, who is a Quaboag alumni. He was up at Riviera College, and now he's in Hartford, and he does admissions there. Paul has always been very supportive of the kids at Quaboag, regardless of whether they're going to Riviera or whether they're going to Hartford. He talks about the cost of, the sticker price is what he calls it, of college and what kids are looking for to get out of it. And on November 4th, we have a person coming out from Elms College, and he's been here for the last, 10 years, and all he does is financial aid. So he gives some really insightful tips to parents on what to ask for. A big piece of it now is, and you probably have seen that college enrollment, kids aren't going to as many colleges as they have in the past. I think there's, between the economy, some of the trades, and the value at community colleges, particularly for your first couple of years of college, those 4-year colleges are really competing against each other to get kids to go. And what Ricky does is he talks a lot about what you can ask for. It's okay to ask for an additional $4,000. And the worst thing that somebody's going to tell you is no. but what they're finding is a lot of colleges are giving more money because they need to get the kids into the buildings. So he will present on December 4th. It's, on November 4th, I apologize. If you have a student in 11th or 12th grade, it's really a valuable resource to go and listen to. So I'd like to thank our Guidance Department Chair, Eric Urban, for setting these 2 nights up. These 2 nights come to us free of charge. They don't charge us to come out. They usually give some swag and stuff, which is nice of them. And that's what I have.
Nice, thank you very much. All right, couple secretaries report, a couple sets of minutes to take a peek at. Which one do you want to start with? We'll start with the minutes of August 25th.
I'll make a motion to approve the regular meeting minutes from August 25th.
Second.
Any further discussion at all? Okay. All in favor? Anyone opposed? Abstentions? Okay. 3 abstentions. Thank you very much. All right, let's take a look at the minutes for September 22nd.
Make a motion to accept.
I'll second.
Questions or further discussion? All in favor? Opposed? Abstentions? No shame. All right, thank you. All right, financial business matters.
So I just wanted to talk about warrants really quickly. I know we've talked about this before, but it's really important that the members that are on the subcommittee get them approved from Cindy, review it and approve it in a timely manner so that we can make sure that we're sending out payment. We've changed our process a little bit, and we are now ACHing out the funds. So we have some deadlines. We're not doing checks unless they are for students. So I just wanted to just remind everybody again to make sure that when the emails come through that we are getting that approval so that we can continue the process.
Alrighty, thank you. Sorry, I skipped communications. There's some information, thank you, Nikki, information in your packet with regards to the Pathway Grant Award Letter and the financial formula invitation. All right. Mr. Morgan, unfinished business from the Budget Subcommittee.
I didn't take notes that day, remember?
Oh, that's right. So I have notes. All right.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. So let's see if I can find these here. So we did discuss the North Brookfield tuition update agreement, the IVAC work, the meetings that the administration's had with both the Warren and West Brookfield Finance committees. Chapter 70 update, discuss health insurance and teacher negotiations, and that was pretty much it.
Good job.
Thank you. I guess I'm up next also for the building subcommittee, since someone else wasn't there either.
We got personnel first.
Oh, I'm sorry, personnel, I beg your pardon. Mr. Landine, sorry, I didn't skip you.
December 4th.
December 4th.
All right. Mr. Matheson?
Yeah, we met and discussed the employee benefits manual. We're gonna run through that, have a couple readings in the future. Then we're gonna work on the disposal of asset policy.
Fascinating. When's your next meeting?
November 3rd
All right.
at 7 p.m.
So if you're looking for an exciting evening, please come to the policy subcommittee.
Oh, yeah.
It's a rager.
All right, for building, Mark to give us, and Steve to give us a update on the concession stand, the issue with the West, excuse me, the West Brookfield sprinkler pipe, the MSBA application process, the kitchen doors, here at the high school, stadium lighting, the interesting story with the handicap lift thing going on, the Warren Community Elementary School building envelope project, and QRMHS heat pumps. So that was the topic. Got it? Okay. All right, let's take a look here. We have some new business to discuss. First up would be a QEA grievance.
Wasn't that supposed to be an executive session? No.
I don't know if you wanted to present it or read it or.
Right, you want me to present it out now? That's what I'm asking.
Sure, we'll discuss it.
I thought it was an executive session that I did that.
That both are, but we need an executive session.
Okay, that's fine, okay.
Yeah, I thought that's what you did. I'm
Okay,
sorry.
perfect.
Sorry about the misunderstanding.
No, no worries.
Okay.
I think we'll work on the reorg some other time, if that's all right with you. And then, I guess, are there any other opportunities for visitors to make any statements or have any questions or any comments, right?
Can
Public
I,
comment?
so, and I apologize if
Okay.
I haven't heard, what the leveled service is. I'm sure it must have been explained and maybe I missed it. But we don't have library at the elementary school anymore, so we did lose a special. So I don't know what the leveled service, why that's still considered a leveled service.
Okay. Yep, no, I would tend to agree with you on that. The one position that was recommended that did not return was that one position.
So, but it's not a leveled service though, because,
Yep, so it was $1.3 million above minimum contribution with one position being cut.
okay.
Anyone else like to ask any questions or?
Yeah, and speaking with the building principals, while I think a media specialist is very important at the elementary buildings, providing adequate coverage for preps was a big piece of it going into the year before, and that was another piece that the building principals recommended as well.
All right, any other questions or anything? Okay. All right, having no other further questions, I'd like to go into executive session. Jay, you want to read that?
I'll make a,
You go for it.
I'll make a motion to go in executive session pursuant to Mass General Law, Chapter 30A, Section 21, to include members of the school committee, Mrs. Courtney, Mrs. Gonzalez, Superintendent Duff, members of the QEA. I don't know who the MTA rep is, he part of this or not. Are we doing the whole, are we including the member of the MTA? This gentleman behind you?
Yes.
Yes?
I can barely hear you guys
Oh,
over here
sorry.
too. I'm sorry.
Okay. To discuss QEA grievance, contract negotiations, we will reconvene in open session for adjournment.
Back into executive session.
Well, they can just leave and then we'll continue.
I hear a second.
Second.
Thank you, Matt.
Roll call vote.
Roll call vote,
You
please.
say aye.
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 Hi,
Okay.
All right.